Here on the Checker Pro Radio Show, we encourage you to send us your questions, and the questions come into the radio program today. What are the most common issues with air conditioning systems? Our resident expert, the Attic Man himself, Mario Lopez, is joining me here today on Checker Pro Radio. How are you, my friend?
Doing great, Jim.
It's good to hear. So, what's the answer to the question? What are the most common issues people have with their HVAC systems?
Well, an HVAC system implies that you're talking about either an air conditioner or a furnace,
Mm.
and you're going to have different issues with both. There is one common issue that will relate to both of those, and that is a dirty filter. I talk about that all the time. Almost every time I get asked this question, it comes down to airflow and dirty filter. So, dirty filter will prevent any kind of heating and air conditioning system from working properly, number one. And if you don't change those filters very often, then that debris will make it past the filter and start to build up on the coils. And that's very bad also because having dirty coils is just as bad, if not worse, than having a dirty filter. Anything that prevents airflow, clean, good, unrestricted airflow through that system is going to cause problems. And a lot of times, so let's talk about an air conditioner. In the summertime, you'll have, we have customers that call all the time, my system stopped working, it's blowing hot air. And you show up and the system actually leaked out all of its refrigerant, right? This is a very common thing that happens in the summer. Well, why does this happen? Well, a refrigeration system in an air conditioner is a closed loop refrigeration system, meaning when the unit's installed and the refrigerant is charged into that unit, it should never leave. It never has to be replaced. It never has to be topped off. If it's installed correctly from the beginning, then you should be good for its lifespan. But if in that refrigeration system a leak ever occurs and you lose your refrigerant, well, now you have a big problem. And that happens a lot because, temperature and pressure are relative, right? If your air conditioning system is under constant pressure, the hotter it gets outside, the higher the pressure is going to be inside of that refrigeration system. And the refrigeration system is just copper piping, in some cases aluminum piping, that has been brazed together either at a factory or in the field by whoever installed that unit. And these brazes are under pressure. I mean, you're talking with 410A refrigerant, which is the most common type of refrigerant we see these days. Those pressures will get up 400, 500, 600 plus in PSI. So, in the summertime, 100 degrees, 105 degrees, temperature's rising, pressure is rising. You mix that with a semi dirty filter, and you have a recipe for just busting a refrigerant leak, which aside from just a dead compressor, which is the main part of that AC, aside from that, a refrigerant leak is one of the worst things that can happen to your AC because sometimes locating that leak and fixing it can be very costly. So those are a couple of common things for the air conditioner. If we like to talk about a furnace, what's a common thing that happens on a furnace that causes it to break down? I'd say number one thing is something called a dirty flame sensor. So when you have a gas furnace that is lighting a flame and shooting a flame into a heat exchanger, there's a very small device. It's a small little metal rod that sticks up like this, and the flame shoots over that metal rod. That metal rod will detect the heat, and it's basically sending an electrical signal back to its computer telling it, hey, we're good. I have flame. I can feel the heat. We're operational. Well, over time, because the heat turning on and off, and the different seasons and temperatures, corrosion and rust will start to build up on that metal rod.
Mm.
And once enough of that corrosion builds up, then it can no longer detect the heat. It doesn't know it's running, and the computer, there's a problem, it shuts itself down for safety, right? So that is something that should be taken care of during a routine maintenance visit by a qualified technician, cleaning that flame sensor. I would say, just kind of off the top of my head, 60% of heating calls are because of a dirty flame sensor. Happens all the time. So having your system maintained is very important so you don't have to deal with that.
Excellent, excellent advice. Mario, thank you so much for joining me today here on the program.
Anytime. Thanks, Jim.